Alright, so this is going to be a guide for the Fast Diva fight. But, so, for the mask phase, um, there isn't really too much to it other than just you need to make sure that your mask phase is really as clean as possible, because the next phase is going to directly depend on the mask phase. So just make sure that you're jumping into these heads, that you're not doing it too high up, because as you might know, they bounce less when they're closer to the ground. You hit them when they're high up, and into it, you won't grab it if you go too early. Do that, you're going to mess up the entire fight. You won't be able to do this pretty much. The the time that you want to aim for this is going to be around like a 5:48. I think you can maybe do a 5:47, but you generally don't want to really push it too slowly. Otherwise, you're probably not gonna have Diva be in the right position for the next part. But really, this is just kind of like, practicing until you get it. So 5:48, that's kind of what we're aiming for. So for the second phase, for the very first ball, you can either start on the left or the right. Now, I found the left tends to be a bit more lenient, but the right is just maybe half a second faster or so. It's not a huge difference to the point where it really matters. Just kind of do whatever you're comfortable doing. So either way though, for the left side, you want to position yourself so that you're right above this red crystal. And for the right side, or sorry, for the left side, you want to be on the right above the red crystal. And for the right side, you also want to be right above the red crystal. And for either way, the moment that the green ball hits either the left or the right side of the wall, you want to just hold the D-pad and hold A, basically jump into it, and that'll put it into a good position to throw it afterward. So it hits the wall, jump into it, pick it up, throw. Right side, hit the wall, pick it up, throw. Pretty easy. Ball section and the egg section are pretty straightforward, obviously. Those don't really need any explanation. So for the first hammer, you want to make sure that you take damage for the first hit. I'm gonna make a save state really fast. So for the first hit, you want to take damage, and that lets you sit inside of the hitbox so that you can pick up the hammer right away without wasting any time. So once you do that, you want to throw it pretty much as early as possible. For the second hammer hit, you want to grab it from the right side, turn around, and then basically throw it as early as you possibly can when you become vulnerable. Because as you might know, if you throw the hammer too early, you're still invincible, so you won't actually get iframes. I'll show that right now. Or you'll just end up throwing it into Diva, and then you won't get anything from it. So first hit, grab. Second hit, wait for just a second. You may need to actually walk a little bit to the right if your Diva was a bit slow. If your Diva was slow, it means that if your first phase was slow, it means Diva's going to be a little bit further to the right. And you might have to, instead of waiting here and then throwing, you might have to walk, say, maybe like here before you throw the second hammer. So after you throw the second hammer, you want to do a slide right after landing. And what the slide does is it lets you hit the hammer that's going to be this position right here, which prevents it from despawning, but you won't try picking it up. Then right after you, I'll show it right here, but right after you land, you then want to do a small jump to the left. And that lets you very easily pick up this green ball. And you don't have to do anything other than just press A, hold left a little bit, and the ball will just go right into the grab animation. Slide, pick up, throw, and you want to grab this hammer right here, and instead of throwing it as early as you can, want to move to this position right here, wait until maybe half a second and then throw it. The reason why you can't throw it early is because if you throw it early, you're not going to hit Diva, and if you move too far to the left, the hammer is going to end up being too close to this wall, and it's going to be difficult to pick it up. And you're probably just going to end up wasting enough time that you won't be able to finish the rest of the fight. Let's see that all over again. Slide, grab, pick up the hammer, wait half a second. So for this hammer, what I like to do is just instantly grab the hammer, turn around, walk to about here, so the beginning of the second chest, and just instantly throw it and get the damage off. You don't have to wait or anything. It'll line up basically perfectly. Grab, do that. Sometimes it might be in a bad yeah, my cat's up here with me. Sometimes things might just not go how you planned, and you might mess up. And so in this instance, the hammers, it moves too close to the wall. In that case, it's probably best, instead of actually trying to grab it, to just do a ground pound to knock it away from the wall and then grab it. And you might be able to salvage the fight. But usually you just want to avoid that situation if possible. Usually you can do that by just not sliding for too long. Pick up. So for the last one, or for the last hammer, you want to walk around midway through the chest, and this gives you just a little bit of extra distance to the Diva. If you throw it using this visual indicator as before, you'll be just very slightly too far to the right. As you can see, it's really easy to mess up small things. Alright, so midway through the chest. Then here, you just want to do a jump and it'll line up for you right next to the ball. so you can grab it instantly. And for this last hit, for the last hit, you want to wait until the hammer despawns, or until the egg appears, because the egg will not actually show up until the hammer is gone. As you can see, once the hammer despawned, the egg came out. So for getting the egg, it's usually easiest if you just immediately jump after throwing the hammer. So as you can see there, I threw it just a little bit too early and the egg never came out. If that's the case, it's usually best to just throw the green ball and then get another egg. You can also use a hammer, but I haven't really experimented with backups too much for that part, so just try not to throw too early. Usually you have enough time no matter what to get the egg afterward. I'll try to make a save state here so I don't have to keep showing the beginning of the fight over and over again. Jump, throw, and then this last part is always going to be the big ball. For the third phase, really this is just do whatever feels comfortable for you. It doesn't really matter too much. The most important things are that you can walk over these gaps without, or at least these one tile gaps without actually having to jump. And that lets you get to Diva a little bit faster. If you jump over this, you're gonna lose speed, and you're gonna just delay the extra hits afterward. So when you do actually go for the hits, the fastest way to do it is to wait until Diva moves, turn around, and then immediately do a B and A dash. And that's going to let you damage, ideally before she actually hits the ground. But if she hits the ground, it doesn't really matter too much. So pretty much just like that. For the lips, you can time it with just a regular dash, but I found that it's kind of difficult to time that, to be honest, because you have to sit right next to it and basically wait until the frame that it starts, and it's kind of inconsistent, at least for me. What I like to do is wait until the lips hit the ground, and then immediately hold A and then do a ground pound. But honestly, you could just pretty much do this however you want. It's really not too different no matter what. So yeah, I'll just show the entire fight all over again just to kind of piece together how everything should look. Might take me a few tries. This fight is a little bit tricky. Especially the mask phase. The mask phase is easy to mess up. So. Oh, a little bit too early. But either way, you kind of get the picture. But yeah, that's basically how you do the fight.